Hello there, this is Oscar from Tercio Gaming coming at you with Dawn of War 3, and today I'm going to show you the elite units of the Space Marines in the beta. Now these are the famous elite units that we've seen in gameplay trailers and in my videos as well. They are like hero units. And you can only select 3 per match. These are my selections, these are my current selections, I might add, for the coming multiplayer matches. But I'll walk you through all of them in a minute. So, as you can see here, we got the 3 avatars, the 3 portraits of these elite units. These are my selections. But if you click on one of the avatars, you can change the elite unit that you want. So, let's start off by from the least elite points that they cost to the most expensive one. Let's start off with the Kill Team, Ironmore. So, we press the info button here. We can actually zoom in and check them out at a closer range. So every elite unit in the game comes with 2 doctrines. They come with a default one, which is this one, which is in color, and they have a locked one, which you can only get by leveling up. Now, by playing games and what they do in the middle of the game, they gain experience, and when they gain enough experience, they level up. And as you can see here, we have the experience bar here, and by every level we gain a reward. So I'll go through the typical rewards that you get by leveling up the elite units. So first off, at level 1 we start off with the default doctrine, which is the one we already have unlocked. Level 2 we gain skulls, which is the currency that you use in this game to purchase elites and army doctrines. The amount of skulls that your account has is down here. At level 3 we unlock the other doctrine, which is this one, which is locked. Level 4 we gain more skulls. At level 5 we gain the Deathwatch portrait, which we can use as an avatar for our multiplayer games. At level 6 we gain the Shino Mortar Steel Paint. It's always going to be, at level 5 it's always going to be the portrait of the elite, and at level 6 is always going to be a paint for the army painter. Level 7 we get more skulls. At level 8 we get the doctrine that we unlocked at level 3, but this time we can equip it without having to use the elite unit in the battlefield. At level 9 we get the mastery skin of the elite unit, and at level 10 we get a reticle, which is like a special mark that you get just to show off that you got the elite units level 10. And if you're curious, we can also select the mastery skin here, which is the one unlocked at level 9, and you can check what changes. As you can see, they get a ton of golden details which look amazing. I think they look much better like this. They look really cool. And something of note is that the Kill Team are actually of different chapters. So here we have a Blood Raven, and here we have a Crimson Fist, here we have a Dark Angel, here's a Blood Angel, and the sergeant leader of the squad is a, how you call these, a Space Wolf. That's it. Okay, so we're going to leave the mastery skin so you can enjoy it there. So, let's actually have a look into detail into the Kill Team. So the Kill Team started off with this doctrine. Deathwatch can be deployed anywhere you have vision, which is really cool because normally elites can only be deployed in areas where you have a building or a resource node. But in this case, these guys can be deployed anywhere you have vision, and they come down in a drop pod, which is pretty nice, which also knockbacks and stuns. When the Deathwatch are deployed, your other elites can be deployed around the Deathwatch, so they serve as an entryway for the other elites. So if you have several elite points accumulated, first you would send in these guys, and immediately you would send in your second or third elite next to these guys, and you can deploy all your elites all together. So that's pretty sweet. The second doctrine is Land Speeder Mark. Land Speeders apply a debuff to their target, increases damage taken, and reveals the target for a duration. On reaching level 8, this doctrine is unlocked to be equipped as an army doctrine. So basically your Land Speeders can mark, and that increases the damage on the target. As for the Q ability of the Kill Team is the Vortex Grenade, which is a pretty impressive grenade. It slows down an enemy unit caught in the blast radius, and they also take damage. So it's pretty neato, especially if you want to finish off a unit which is trying to escape, like these pesky Eldar, which are faster than you. And the W ability is the Teleport Homer, which basically they channel for a set duration and they teleport back to base. Now it also gives you some other benefits, like causes their deployment ability to have its cooldown significantly reduced, allowing them to quickly redeploy and pick up a new upgrade package. So basically they go away. Sorry, I said back to base, but no, they don't. What they do is they run away from the battlefield, and you can summon them again from your elite panel, but they get a big reduction to their cooldown, and you can also repick their upgrade package here. As talking about the upgrade packages, these are mutually exclusive, so if we choose Fury Tactics, which gives them a Flamer, we cannot choose Malleus Tactics, which gives them a missile launcher. The Flamer is really good against infantry and normal units, while the missile launcher is good for armor piercing, damage for heavy armor like vehicles and other such heavy units. I always recommend getting the Flamer first, because the kill team is a very early elite unit. You get it like in the first 5 minutes of the match, and it's going to be really useful to take down enemy infantry. So that's all about the kill team. Let's go to the next elite unit. In this case it would be Librarian Jonah Orion for 3 elite points. There he is, typical librarian with his familiar. Let's check his mastery skin. He is clad again in golden armor. So for his first doctrine, standard Stonewall. When Jonah Orion is deployed, the standard erects a magical barrier in a circle around itself, blocks movement, and absorbs shots that pass through it. So that is an ability that he has, which is very useful. We'll see it later. And for his doctrine, his second doctrine is the Blind Grenade for the Scouts. Scout grenades blind and silence the enemy for a duration, so they gain those properties for debuffing enemy units. The duration increases as you tear up. Let's have a look at his Q ability, which is Fury of the Ancients. Jonah uses his familiar to manifest arcs of lightning, causes damage, and increases speed of allies in a line. So if you use it on enemies, they're probably going to die because it's lightning. But if you use it on an ally, it increases their movement speed. So it's also a very cool tool if you want to run away from powerful enemy units. As for his W, it's the Emperor's Light. Jonah calls forth the Emperor's Light, increases damage of allies while disabling attacks, blinding and silencing enemies in an expanding circle. This is pretty neat. As you can see here in the example, he uses it in the middle of his own units and the enemy units, buffing his units and debuffing the enemy orcs there, being blinded and silent. His E ability is the Stone Wall. Jonah erects a magical barrier in a circle around himself, blocks movement and absorbs shots that pass through it. Fury of the Ancients and Emperor's Light are altered when cast inside Stone Wall. I didn't experiment enough with it, so I do not know in which way they're altered, but all I know it does improve your Q and your W abilities when you use them inside the Stone Wall. It's very useful to pick off enemy units and single them out to destroy them, and it's overall the best ability that Jonah has. His passive ability is Seal. Jonah gains a charge when using abilities that decays over time. Each charge increases attack speed. So when you're using your Q, W and your E, you gain a Zeal charge, and for each charge you get increased attack speed, making him more deadly. And the level up rewards are the same. They're basically always the same. Skulls, and you get the second doctrine, skulls, portrait, paint, skulls, army-wide doctrine, the mastery skin, and hero's mark. So Jonah Orion, I didn't have much experience with him, and in the open beta I hope to play him a bit more and test him out. The next elite unit that we have here is Gabriel Angelo, the Gabster, the Gabester, however you want to call him. He is the chapter master of the Blood Ravens himself. Let's have a look at his mastery skin here. Basically the same, but with more golden bits. Probably you're noticing a pattern here, that the mastery skin is just golden bits added to the default skin. So his default doctrine is Inspiring Drop. When Gabriel is deployed, drop pods heal on a circle upon landing. Pretty nifty, especially if you like using drop pods a lot, because you're going to have a frontline healing factory in the middle of the battlefield to heal your units. His second doctrine is the Slam barrier for the Dreadnought. The Dreadnought Slam's ability creates a temporary barrier, absorbs shots and reflects projectiles. When reaching level 8, this doctrine is unlocked to be equipped as a yada yada yada. So the Slam ability of the Dreadnought has always been very useful, as it causes knockback and like stuns enemy units. But now that it creates a barrier, that is pretty useful, especially when you want to slam and at the same time you're trying to eliminate that unit that you're slamming, and at the same time you're protecting yourself from the enemy's fire, because the Dreadnought is mainly a melee unit. So using the slam and creating a barrier at the same time is going to be extremely useful. His Q ability is the God Splitter. Gabriel jumps to the target position, causes knockback and stun in a circle, increases speed after landing. So this is the infamous Gabriel Angelo super jump, which people find stupid, but I do not, because I mean the Warhammer 40k universe is already over the top and exaggerated, and surely a genetically enhanced human being like a Space Marine can jump those distances. I mean, it's not that impossible to think of. So yeah, it's a basic lunge-in jump ability which causes knockback. And the W is Retribution. Gabriel swings his hammer around, causing knockback and damage in a circle, creates a barrier that absorbs shots and reflects I don't know why I have so much trouble pronouncing projectiles. The barrier's duration is increased by each charge of God Splitter. So the more charges that we have with God Splitter, the less we use the Q ability, the stronger Retribution is. So you just press W and you obliterate everything around you. There you go. And it creates a barrier which can help you escape after you've done your job. So you see here, Maka has gotten her projectiles reflected. Then his passive is Critical Strike. Gabriel delivers a powerful blow every 8th melee attack, causes damage and knockback in the circle, and each charge of God Splitter reduces the number of attacks required to critical strike by 1. So again, the less we use his Q ability, the more powerful his critical strike is, just like the Retribution. Pretty neato. So that's basically Gabriel Angelos. Next up is the Assault Terminator squad. Here they are in Blood Raven colours. Let's have a look at the Mastery skin. Same thing, but with lots of golden bits. They do look awesome though. I like them a lot. So their default doctrine is Charging Slam. When the Assault Terminators are deployed, the Dreadnought can charge in the target direction, causes damage, knockback and vehicle stuns to units it passes through. At the end of his charge, or when activated during the charge, the Dreadnought performs a slam. They lose the ability to perform slam without initiating a charging slam. So basically, Dreadnoughts cannot slam when they're still. First they're going to have to charge, and then they can slam. This is really cool if you want to close the gap very quickly with faster units. It's very useful, especially against Eldar Dire Avengers. You just charge and slam them really fast. So it's pretty neat. And the second doctrine is the Frag Grenade for the Assault Marines. For the Tactical Marines. They throw a grenade at the target position, causes knockback and damage in a circle. This, I think, in the early metagame is going to be extremely useful, because it's very similar to the grenade that the Dire Avengers of the Eldar have. That grenade already gives the Dire Avengers a big advantage because it causes knockback very early in the game. And the Space Marines, they're not really good at anything. They're just, you know, versatile, basic range units. They're not really good at much. So having a frag grenade akin to the Dire Avengers one is going to give them a big upper hand in battles. especially to level the playing field with Dire Avengers and to destroy the Orc Boys very early game. So I think this is going to be a must-have, at least until the meta is completely developed. So for their Q ability is Teleport. The Assault Terminators teleport to the target position, causes knockback in a circle. This is an amazing ability, especially if you want to close the gap with faster units, and the teleport range is actually pretty big. As you can see there, causes knockback, and they immediately start fighting in melee. For their W, Hammer Slam. An Assault Terminator slams the ground with his hammer, causes damage, stun, and slow in a circle. This is the perfect follow-up for the Q ability. As soon as you teleport in, you press the W, you slam them, you debuff them, you knock back them, and you obliterate a unit in melee. For their passive ability, we have Critical Strike, which is like Gabriel Angelo's Critical Strike, but it's every 6th melee attack instead of every 8th. So it causes bonus damage, which is nice. And finally, the last elite unit of the Space Marines in the beta is Solaria, the Imperial Knight. And oops-a-daisy, right now I have equipped the exclusive DLC skin that you can get by pre-ordering the game, which is the Dark Queen skin. Her default skin is this one. There you go. And her mastery level skin is this one. Unlocked at level 9. She gets more golden bits. Not very surprising, isn't it? Okay, so for her we're gonna leave the DLC one, which I think is cooler. So for her default doctrine is Inferno Missiles. When Solaria is deployed, whirlwind rockets leave behind a pool of fire when they explode, causes damage over time in a circle. This can be extremely useful if you want to guard a resource node and deny the area from infantry trying to capture it. But overall, I think it's not going to be more useful in an established meta game. And the other doctrine is Fire on the Move for Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines equipped with bolters can fire on the move, so if you get Plasma Gun upgrade or Flamer upgrade, they won't be able to. But do so less rapidly than when stationary. So, yeah. The Tactical Marines, they can fire while moving, and they do it at a slower rate of fire. Not very useful in my opinion. I just think it's a very crappy doctrine. Unless you want to go very mobile. But I don't think it's going to be the best choice for a doctrine. Her Q ability is Gatling Barrage. Solaria fires her Gatling cannons in a sweeping cone. Each shot causes damage in a line between Solaria and the max range. When overheated, Solaria vents a blast of steam, causes knockback and damage in a circle. So it's your standard kill everything in a cone kind of ability. Nothing overly special about this one. It's just aim, shoot, and you destroy everything in that area. And you can see it's very effective. Her W ability, Iron Storm Missiles. Solaria fires up to 6 of her missiles on independent target positions, causes damage in a circle, cooldown is reduced for each missile not fired. When overheated, Solaria's missiles burn the ground, causes damage over time and slow in a circle. So it's basically a targeted whirlwind. While the whirlwind can only attack one area, with these missiles you can target several areas. And there you have it. You can just aim at the enemy units, and with pinpoint precision you can destroy them. And now we get to her passives. Gets Hot. Solaria generates heat when firing or using abilities. When overheated, Solaria is slowed but deals increased damage. Now, Solaria is a bit of a glass cannon thanks to this passive. So when fighting or using her ability, she gains heat. When she reaches a certain level of heat, she gets overheated. She does increased damage, but she is slower. So this is very dangerous to use if you're being focus fired or there's some dangerous elites on the field, because you might lose her, especially when you want to escape and she is slower. She's going to keep getting focus fired and she might die really fast. Also, when you get overheated, her Q and W get improved as the descriptions just mentioned. Her second passive is Fame and Glory, and when Solaria kills a vehicle or elite, she receives a cooldown reduction on her abilities. This could be pretty amazing. especially on weaker vehicles or weaker elites. You can completely destroy them really fast, which is going to give you a big cooldown reduction to your Q and W, which in turn is going to give you more heat and more increased damage. So Solaria is more like a berserk, go crazy kind of elite. She's really good. I really liked her playstyle. You do have to be very careful with her because she's very glass cannony though, but still she can take a big beating. So that is all the elite units for the Space Marines in the beta. This is my current selection for multiplayer matches because I think it's the most useful at the moment. I like to go with the kill team first because they're cheap, and I like to get that early game advantage with them because of the flamer. They're really good. Then I like to get the assault terminators because they are an amazing melee unit. And melee fights in this game are really important. It's really important to tie up the enemy's strongest units into melee combat, and these guys are incredible at melee combat. And the last choice is Solaria herself. It's like the end game elite. She can literally destroy everything in her path if you take good care of her. I didn't experiment much with Jonah Orion yet though, but I'll probably do that in the beta. And as for Gabriel, I like to replace the assault terminators with Gabriel from time to time, especially when I feel like deploying 2 early elite units really fast. Gabriel he's very standard. He's not good at particularly anything, but he's very versatile, and he's a good elite to have to do, you know, just to support your troops. But regularly I go for the assault terminators to help out. So those are my choices, and these are the elites for the Space Marines. Just tell me what you think about them in the comments below, and if you liked the video, stay tuned for more Dawn of War 3 videos in the future. This is Oscar, and I'll see you later.